Guys, right, I've hooked up the side lights just more or less to see what they look like and to see how much light that's throwing out, just in case I need to move them or put them anywhere else, and they seem fine. I've converted the main headlight, as you can see there. The main headlight was an old, I'm guessing 30s, because it's all brass headlight. I converted it to a H4 headlight bulb, so it's got dims and heads in it now. The only problem is it's the actual the reflector inside it is actually brass, so it's going to throw the yellow light. But look, for what it is, it'll do the job very nicely. And I've got the other spotlight then on this side here, so the spotlights alone throw a huge amount of light, so I'll have no shortage of light on the front of this. A quick video on the brake pedal box. This is the accelerator pedal. This actually works out better than I thought. I actually had planned on fitting a brake bias valve, which would split the power to the back, but the brake for the sidecar and the rear brake, but I don't have to. This is actually designed, when I open the box, for a 2 master cylinder setup, so I will be able to run one of these to each one, to the back wheel and to the sidecar, which is absolutely perfect, because with this bar you can adjust the pressure from more to one side than the other side, which will give me the bias that I need for the brakes. The third guy here is from the 3rd master cylinder, is for the front brakes. So it'll actually work out really well. I will have completely independent braking on all 3 wheels. So if there's ever an issue, then I'm 100% safe. Okay guys, the only thing I've got to do now is work out a spring setup for the accelerator pedal and a cable fitting for it. The whole foot pedal assembly is sorted. This pedal, you've 3 master cylinders up the front here, 1 for each of the wheels. This nearest one here runs away. That will operate the front wheels of the front wheel of the bike, both discs. And you've a center pedal then, which operates, as you can see there, it's actually running both of the master cylinder, of the other 2 master cylinders. One pedal is going to the sidecar, the other one is going to the back wheel of the bike. I can actually adjust this so one of these is slightly longer than the other, so it puts more pressure on one wheel than it does on the other, so I can get brake bias that way. On the accelerator pedal, as you can see in there, I ended up having to, if you can see the brass bit inside in the corner there, I ended up having to make a special fitting at the end of it. It's hard to see there, to get the nipple sorted. I've put a spring in there. So now, as you can see, that is actually working spot on. This is the pedal assembly sitting in the front of the sidecar. Now, we have come up with a bit of a snag, as you can see. The brace bar, which is here for the front of the sidecar, is straight across the middle of the master cylinders. So I can't have that. So what I'm going to have to do is cut the brace bar sort of here and here, take that center section out of it, and figure out a way of doing a loop or doing a bracket up or doing some sort of a job with it, where it will actually allow me to connect up the reservoirs and the pipe up to here. So that's going to be tomorrow's job. So we'll be getting on that, and hopefully tomorrow evening I'll have the master cylinders and stuff, the whole pedal assembly fitted, and we'll go from there. The pedal box is fitted, solid as a rock now. All the brakes and everything is working. The mechanism I did for the throttle cable is now working. I ended up having to put a stopper in down here, because what was happening was the pedal was coming back too far and popping the spring off the pedal. So that's now done, and it's now sorted. Now the other job I have done is I've ran the throttle cable, as you can see, out through the side. Now the throttle cable has got to go all the way back over there into the middle of the bike, so to speak. So there's a bit of work involved in feeding it. So I found myself a nice bit of brass rod. So what I've done is I fed the throttle cable into the rod. I made a couple of P-clips to hold the rod in place. So as you can see, it's followed all the way back. It finishes here. I'm running it up through the speedometer bracket, and then it will go off down to the carburetors. So that's the throttle cable pretty much sorted, okay? Right, what I'm doing at the moment now is I'm mocking up the brake pipes. I was looking online, and I was looking for P-clips, which were the clips that actually hold the brake line in place, and I couldn't find any. So what I done was I actually ended up having to make them all myself. I've also fed the throttle cable through a piece of brass pipe that I'd left. So that's how we're looking at the moment. I have these are all mock-up pipes. These pipes won't be used because they're actually bent and twisted, but they're spare somewhere lying around the place. But these clips, I actually ended up making them myself out of a bit of flat brass bar that I had, light stuff. and I did the same with the main ones for they're quite large for the cable housing. So that's the story now. So they're going up there. That's for your front brake. There's one here that's going down to your back brake for the bike, and there'll be a third one coming out, and that'll be going to the sidecar. So by the time all that's done, it'll look pretty cool. Right, the mock-up on the brake pipes is done. I haven't connected them up into the master cylinder because I said this is just a mock-up, and there'll be connectors and whatever going in there later on. They're fed 3 pipes coming out down here, 1 for each of the wheels. So you got one coming up here. That'll be connected into the braided hose at some stage later for the front wheels. They're fed all the way down the side. 1 second, I'll get up there and have a look. As you can see, they're fed all the way down the side. You've an end here, just down here. That's feeding the back wheel. And it goes in underneath the sidecar, across up the other side, and it finishes here. That will feed the sidecar wheel. Now, they'll all be connected up via braided hoses because, for obvious reasons, you can't have a solid connector on a moving part. So that's pretty much the brakes. That's the brake hardwired or hardlined, shall we say, done. I'll have braided hoses and what have you to be fitted later on, but for now that's done anyway. So I'm delighted. That's another big step forward. Today's job was to sort out the clutch cable. You can see the way off there inside in the distance, and that comes out here. It comes out here and goes all the way underneath there up to the clutch lever here. Now, because it was a much shorter cable, excuse me there 1 minute, than the standard, I had to cut the cable. As you can see on the lever, there's a brass nipple in there, so I had to put a new nipple into it. And I made a guide, or just a clip there to hold the cable in place as well. So that's all the clutch cable sorted. That's working. The whole thing is, well, it's pulling perfect now. I'm assuming it's working fine, but I know when I pull the engine, I can double check it, okay? So that's that clutch cable sorted anyway, so that's another small job out of the way. Okay, see you later, guys. Bye-bye.